Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I feel inspired to talk about getting into the field of pure potential. Now, I am a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he speaks very, very well on this topic and describes it incredibly well. If you are unfamiliar with his work, I definitely highly recommend that you familiarize yourself. He has multiple books. He puts out a lot of content on Instagram, and he holds live in-person retreats, meditation retreats, and he really talks about getting into the field of pure potential. Now, what this exactly means is the field of pure potential is the energy that creates all things, that all things manifest from. So in theory, before anything becomes anything, it is in the field of pure potential. And again, Joe Dispenza really describes this very well, but I will try my best to describe it. So the way that we tap into this quantum field, it is a quantum field. It is the field of everything. It's, it's everything, therefore it's nothing before it becomes something. So in theory, there is this field all around us, this quantum field of pure potential. And how we tap into this field is through a meditative state. Through meditation, we are able to drop all of the labels. We are able to let go of everything in this physical world, everything in this spiritual world. We are able to then, what Joe Dispenza describes it as, we become no thing, nothing. We become no body. We become no thing. We do not exist in no time, no space. And he describes how you can envision it, but it is basically just getting into that clear-minded, meditative state and then choosing to create from there, understanding that you can create from a field of pure potential. And when you do that, you are, in theory, able to create anything. You are able to manifest anything, because that is where manifestation comes in. So when there is a quantum theory that, without the observer, nothing exists. And that as we observe our reality is created in the moment that it is observed. So if you have ever heard someone say that we create our reality, I've said it before, that we create our reality on a moment-to-moment basis, this is kind of coinciding with that idea. Because the reason why we create our reality on a moment-to-moment basis and not before is because our reality is dependent on us, on the observer. So in theory, that take for example, whatever is in your line of sight right now, whatever is just out of your line of sight does not exist at that moment. And when you turn to have it come into your line of sight, that is when that reality is created, in theory. So before something happens, it has the ultimate potential. It can potentially be anything. So, for example, when your phone rings and you don't see who it is, before you see that caller ID, it could be anyone. It could potentially, literally be anyone on the other side of that phone. In this reality, maybe it's not someone that is deceased, but someone that is live and well. And it is in that moment of before you look at your phone that the potential is created for when that moment that you look at your phone. So how you can use this to your advantage is that as things start to happen, you can start to imagine the highest possible outcome and get into that feeling of it, that good feeling of it. So let's go back to the phone. If you were, your phone rings and the highest possible outcome would be, I don't know, I'd say your car's in the repair shop, that it is the mechanic calling to say that your car is finished, it is less expensive than you thought it was going to be, and it's done earlier than you thought it was going to be. That is something that you can get into the feeling of, and you can tap into that field of pure potential to help you manifest that phone call being that phone call. And that is just one example. There are many examples, because if you really start to accept the fact that reality is created on a moment-to-moment basis as you observe it, that going, what is beyond this, around this corner, only exists when you observe what is around that corner, and that you can potentially influence what you see and experience. That becomes a really, really powerful notion, because you can then create your reality. And that is what Dr. Joe Dispenza is talking about when he talks about this field of pure potential. It is the field that creates our reality upon us observing it. So, if reality depends on the observer, and the observer can create the reality that the observer experiences, then we need to really be using that to our advantage. And I feel like I just felt that in my heart right now, because I feel so much that is something that I need to be consciously doing, because I think it's easy to get wrapped up and to forget these things, because it kind of is a constant maintenance, and you can train your brain to expect the best case scenario. However, you always need to sometimes bring yourself back to, like, okay, let's remember that I create my reality on a moment-to-moment basis. So next time something is about to happen, next time the phone is ringing, I am going to imagine the best case scenario for that. And now that doesn't exactly mean that it's always going to happen, because remember, we don't know what kind of domino effects, and we don't know, we don't have that grand vision of the divine. However, we are here to start to influence our reality, to start to bend our reality, to start to create that reality, the reality that we want to see, the reality that we want to be in. We need to start to put that out there. And the way that we start to do that is by understanding this field of pure potential, that there is until we experience it, until us as the observer observes it, everything is in that no thing, in that field of pure potential. And then it comes to life as we observe, as the expectation of the observer is put onto the reality. That is how we are here co-creating this reality with the divine. And we really need to take this to heart and to start to implement it on a moment to moment basis, because it is more than just setting intentions at the beginning of the day or being in meditation and then forgetting about it. This is a principle that we need to carry with us throughout our day, and it needs to be something that is in the front of our mind as we move through our day. Because yes, we can say like, I ask and I set the intention that I have a wonderful day, that I don't hit any traffic, I have a smooth commute to work, but that is not as powerful as when you get into your car, to get into the feeling and to expect and to want a smooth ride to work, an enjoyable commute. So setting the intention before you get in that car and after you get into the car and you start out on your journey, those are doing it in the moment that it is about to happen holds a lot more weight and a lot more power, because we create the reality as we experience it. So doing something way beforehand and then just totally forgetting it and then not being in the feeling as it happens. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Is much more powerful, because we create our reality on a moment-to-moment basis. So that is why the present moment is so powerful. So I am going to work on getting more into that quantum field, getting more into that field of pure potential. And yes, I do want to increase my meditation and increase my time of fully immersing myself in that field of pure potential, but also I want to remember moving throughout my day that I create my reality on a moment-to-moment basis, and that field of pure potential is all around us all of the time, creating our reality as we go to experience it and not before. So that is our message for today. My name is Anne, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.